Talking about a really important topic in our community, A Safe Place, Northern Illinois' only organization exclusively dedicated to domestic violence and human trafficking, is facing devastating $2 million federal funding cuts, just as it welcomes the Gabby Petito Foundation as keynote speakers at its 2025 Unmask the Violence gala that's set to happen on October 18th, 2025. I can't believe this is happening, but it is. Here we are to talk about it. And joining us to talk more about this is Pat Davenport, CEO of A Safe Place, and Denean Gorman, a Safe Place client turned advocate. Thank both of you ladies for being here with us this morning. Let's talk about this federal funding cut and really what it means for your nonprofit organization.
Yes, you know, we are, as you mentioned, the only organization that is dedicated to doing domestic violence and human trafficking in Northern Illinois, the Chicagoland area. To give you an idea of what the need is 1 out of every 3 women and 1 out of every 7 men that are impacted by domestic violence. Chicagoland is 10 million people. That's about 3 million women. So suffering a $2 million cut that eliminated about 12 to 14 positions over 5 programs at a time when we are experiencing the highest demand for housing, emergency shelter. You know, when a person is fleeing their home because the person they love could kill them, they need a safe place to go. And when we don't have any emergency shelter available for them, that's what keeps us up at night, right?
I got a follow-up question for you, because when you went into the people that have lost their jobs, sadly, because of this and the program cuts, I could see the emotion. You look very emotional about it. What were those people doing on the ground, and then what were the programs? How did they help?
Yes, so one of them had to do with helping victims of domestic violence and trafficking, answering those phone calls, being able to talk to them when a crisis is happening, or sort out to what is doing safety planning. You know, just because sometimes they may not be able to leave right away, and they may need a safety plan to do that. So think about this. When you don't know what is the safest way to get out, you need someone who can guide you through that process. That will be staff that will be doing that. Hotels, when we're able to put people up, that funding got cut. Youth programs, children's programs, art therapy, counseling, all of those services have really been basically eliminated or drastically reduced as a result of the cuts.
Wow, that's tough. I'm so sorry to hear that. Before we get to more of the gala, I know Denean's sitting here. It says you're a Safe Place client turned advocate. Thank you for coming on to talk about how special A Safe Place is and how it helped you and now how you're helping others.
Yeah, well, A Safe Place was there from the very beginning. I went in for an emergency order of protection, and there was a representative there, and she walked me through the process. She comforted me, handed me a lot of tissue, and literally held my hand through it. She did a follow-up phone call, left me with a number that I was too ashamed to call, and she was there. And through them, not only did I receive counseling, group counseling and individual counseling, but my kids did. They gave us a home where we could keep our dog. They gave us groceries, they gave us Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner. They gave us hope. So when you're going through this, your shame and your embarrassment and your fear drowns you. And what A Safe Place does and did for us was they gave me the tools, my kids the tools, so that we could heal and hope, and we can grow. You know, when you're embedded by love and empathy, the shame starts to diminish. And through their programs, we were able to do that.
Well, it sounded like they were able to keep you as this family unit, which I know for a fact.
It's hard.
Well, and is it important to keep yourself, you know, keep day-to-day life somewhat normal? Do you think that being able to stay that as a unit with your kids and your dog helped you to escape your trouble?
Yes. It gave us, every day when you would wake up, you'd see the kids, and they helped me provide as much normalcy as I could for them and keep them feeling like they had consistency, which is huge and safe. And that's why the programs that we are losing and the programs that they are working so hard to continue to provide, they're essential. They're essential to the healing.
Well, let's hope that this gala gets more people, and then that way you'll have more funding to go around. Talk about the gala and really what you're hoping people take away from it.
Yes, so the gala is our signature event of every year, and it's going to be October 18th, and please visit our website. All the information is there. We expect about 350, 400 people to attend, and the Gabby Petito's mothers are going to be there. You may recall that her story, they were living an RV life. She was stopped. She was treated like an offender, actually, and he was treated like a victim in reality. And at the end of the day, he ended up killing her. And you may recall too, there was a news all over the place, yes. But also Netflix recently did a story, a series about her. And so the moms are going to come and speak about their experience and how important it is to have organizations like A Safe Place on the front lines, you know, being able to provide services and educating law enforcement. Many times has a lot to do with training, you know, and educating people on the work that we do and the nature of domestic violence.
If someone's watching right now and maybe they can't come to the gala, but they're like, I want to support this cause. I'm sorry that the funding is being cut, but they want to be there to help. Which ways can they donate? How can they donate to your
organization? They can go to our website and donate. If they also want to volunteer, they can come and do that. They can serve on committees for next year too. If they also want to come and help and provide services to clients, we have a whole program available to train them to do something like that. So there are many opportunities to get engaged with us and become involved.
Yeah, knowing that you guys have these funding cuts, are you seeing a lot of people in the community hopefully come to you and want to help, or even talking to other, you know, places around the country who are obviously, you know, facing a similar situation? Are you collaborating with them to figure out, okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to still, you know, give care but yet not have the funds that we once did?
Yes, absolutely. And we've been stepping up, you know, our volunteer outreach efforts. It's just difficult, right? Because people have lives that they need to support themselves. And we need, you know, how do you replace 12 to 14 staff that were working for us full time? You got to start from ground zero, training everybody. And these individuals had knowledge about the work, experience, degrees. So it's challenging, not impossible, of course. You know.
Are we seeing, I know you mentioned, you know, some of the statistics at the top, but are we seeing domestic violence rise at the same rate in our community as human trafficking, or are they both kind of like at the same pace of going up?
They are going up, but at different levels. The main reason being is domestic violence being tracked for a long time, for decades, I would say, but probably human trafficking has not. We're just beginning to get organized. So in terms of our numbers, so you're aware, last year we served over 24,000 people, one touch. By that we mean either an order of protection or counseling sessions, you know, or shelter. In human trafficking, we serve about 350 people. So, but 5 years ago, we had 10. So you can tell that there is a disproportion in percentages, just not the numbers, and I believe that has a lot to do with the tracking.
Without that money being there, is that almost like detrimental? I mean, that sounds like, to me, you know, I've covered these stories before of domestic violence, human trafficking, and in some cases, having someone there to talk you through it, to kind of talk you out of it, sometimes secretly, right? Because the person that's doing this to you, they don't want you on the phone, they want to isolate you, right? So sometimes you're doing this in secret. It's life or death to have somebody there to walk you out of these situations.
It is, and you are so right. You know, Chicago by far has the highest homicide, suicide rate in the state of Illinois. Northern Illinois throughout has it on different areas depending on the counties, but you wouldn't expect so. You know, like a county like Lake County has been the second highest after Chicago. So you are so right that if you're not able to have someone there to walk you through, it's counterproductive. And you know, people think what happens behind closed doors happens behind closed doors. That could not be farther from the truth. What impacts you, it impacts everybody else. A study was done in 2010, is the only one, that showed that healthcare cost to businesses was over $8 billion a year. Just in healthcare. That is from the beatings, you know, that are endured by people when they're going through this. That, of course, makes you lose profits, right? So it impacts everybody, not only in the loss of life, but also in funding as well.
You know, Denean, I get a little emotional because my mother was a victim of domestic violence. Oh. I'm sorry. But, you know, I appreciate you coming on and becoming an advocate. What would you say to a woman at home who is facing this?
I would say your story is unique to you. I would say you matter, your voice matters, and to reach out for help, because fear is a liar. And it takes a lot of courage to reach out for help and know you're not alone. And a safe place is truly a safe landing spot, and they don't leave you. You don't go in, get minimal help that you need for a month or a week or 6 months. They're there, and their programs are there to help you rebuild and to get your family to where they need to be so that everyone could thrive and grow.
What do you say, Denean? Because like I said, you know, covering these stories, sometimes people are suffering in silence. You know, they're taking the beatings, they're trying to get out. A lot of times it's also financial control as well. Yeah. And maybe they don't have a place to turn. Maybe there isn't, because like your organization's experiencing these funding cuts, others are too, and maybe there isn't someone on the other end. Right. What do you do? I mean,
well, I think that's a huge part of a safe place is, you know, speaking from my own experience, a huge part was financial abuse, and I completely had to rebuild, and I couldn't have done that without them. So it doesn't matter your education level, it doesn't matter your socioeconomic level, it doesn't matter your ethnicity. Abuse does not discriminate. It doesn't care. And if you, the only message that I would say time and time again is you are not alone. Fear just does not have a place in this. Shame does not have a place in this, and we have an obligation, right, to reach out and to help others and to help a safe place, which has been so amazing. Just don't give up on yourself or on your family, and there is a way. There is a way.
It's nice to see that you're sharing your story and you come out in some ways on the other side. Maybe I always say bruised but not broken, you know, because obviously you're not shattered. You're able to tell your story, and we appreciate you doing that. That is a real hard thing to do, is to be vulnerable in that way and really express, you know, what you've gone through. Pat, I want to ask you before we let you go, what is the website? Because we've talked about it, but we didn't say what it is. I want people to know what it is so they can donate.
It's www.asafeplaceforhelp.org, and 4 is F-O-R.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. Gabby, I'm sure a lot of people appreciate you being vulnerable too, so thank you. And Denean, thank you as well.
Pat. Yeah, we really do appreciate it.
Yeah, we do. All right.
Support them and support the gala as well. We appreciate you ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.